Buckle up, everyone. Good evening. Don B here from Eat Sleep Cruise, joined by my good friend John from Cruise Addicts, and we're talking about MSC Cruises tonight. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. Really excited to be here talking about MSC Cruises. And we were kind of like on, at least on an MSC cruise ship this past weekend, weren't we?
We've been on a couple MSC cruise ships in the last few months, so we figured MSC is kind of making a big push in the US. I've gotten a lot of questions. I'm sure you've gotten a lot of questions on your posts and your articles about the cruise line. So we could talk a little bit about today, answer the questions you have about MSC, or if you have questions about any other cruise line, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Before we, of course, we dive in, let us know who's here. Let us know what your next cruise is, because we both have cruises coming up pretty soon. Not on MS ships, but you have a cruise coming up in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, we're going on the Norwegian Spirit in Alaska on May 9th for 7 nights. Really excited about that. I know we talked about going up to Alaska, and it came to happen. Really excited. And before we start, make sure, we like to base these live streams on your questions. So please give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and also write down below, check in, let us know about what cruises you have coming. And of course, ask your MSC question. If we don't know the answer, we'll make it up. And if not, we'll look it up. So,
and if not, we'll just talk about food. So,
yeah,
I mean, you got one of three options there.
Yes, I was just talking to Don about my secret special meatball recipe. Very exciting.
Yes. Which fits perfectly because MSC Cruises, European brand, Italian brand. So you're bound to get plenty of Italian food. And I'm assuming meatballs. I don't think I had meatballs, but they must serve it, right?
I'm sure. And I know we did see some beautiful pizza on board. I know I shared some of the pictures. I just posted an article on cruiseaddicts.com about 6 things I love about MSC Cruises. And I know you have articles and videos coming as well. And yeah, you can see the picture of this beautiful pizza that they have in the buffet area. I mean, there's a person making, and he's probably Italian, which just kind of lends some street cred, right?
It does. I mean, they go right into the theming on MSC Cruises. So you're talking about this pizza. You're gonna have to dig up a photo. We didn't get to eat any pizza this last time.
Yeah.
So we were on Meraviglia, which is now sailing out of New York, and they also have a couple other ships sailing out of the U.S. So of course, as John mentioned, ask your questions. We'll talk a little bit more about the 4 different ships that they have right now in the U.S., but that doesn't mean you can't ask about the other ones because they have something like 23, 24 ships. They have a bunch of vessels right now.
Yeah, it's one of the fastest growing cruise lines in the entire world. Some people don't know about it. Some people just haven't been on board one of the ships. I mean, they can look from afar, but luckily we've both been on board, and we'll try to lend some, information to people that are curious about it. I'm sure everybody is. We're always interested in something new. And I think there's just so many great reasons to actually take an MSC cruise. I think everybody should consider it. I know we'll take a deeper dive in that here in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, we already have some great questions coming on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. So wherever you are, let us know what you want to know about the brand, and we'll do the best to answer them. And I don't know, where do you want to start? Well, I know we got some folks asking, are you talking about Alaska?
Okay, well,
we're gonna talk. Hold off. We got Alaska next. We got a special talking about. We're gonna do another live. We'll talk about that another time. We're gonna try to focus on MSC Cruises, but inevitably Alaska comes up, right?
Yeah. So we got Gloria Savage saying hello, Gloria from Facebook. We really appreciate you checking in. And Justin from YouTube, he says, perfect time. I have one booked for January, but don't know fully what to expect. Well, that's
perfect.
What do you think Justin should expect?
You're like the king of segues on there. So
Yeah.
Some of the things that we now, this is from our experience, of course. If you've sailed on MSC, love to hear your takes on what makes MSC different. But there's also a lot of similarities too. Let's see, cruising is cruising. We've been on their mega ships again, so also trying to compare them to other mega ships. I haven't been on some of the smaller ships, but most of the newer ships MSC is coming out with, right? They're large. They're like 3,000-4,000 passengers.
Yeah.
So they're a behemoth. They're which I love. We love all the large ships from all the cruise lines. That's what Heidi and I. That's kind of our first love, are the mega ships, but we love cruising in general. So a couple things. I think was it Justin you mentioned. One of the first one is the makeup of your fellow passengers is probably a little bit different than you're used to if you've sailed on some of the other brands and you've sailed from like Florida or you've done an Alaska cruise or somewhere else. Definitely they draw from like all over the world, right?
Yeah, MSC Cruises really started its roots in the Mediterranean. That's where Mediterranean Shipping Company, and they had cruises there. So that's their core audience. And Europeans and people in that part of the world actually want to visit the United States, and they want to visit the Caribbean and have a cruise out of New York City, for example. So they actually will fly to Miami, they'll fly to New York City and get on a brand like MSC Cruises because they're comfortable with that. That's been their brand, just like Carnival's kind of a Royal Caribbean is very much a United States brand. MSC is really focused on that, at least started there. So now that they've had ships deployed here, those same customers are coming over, and so you could easily find 30% or more of the passengers might be Italian, they might be Brazilian, different things like that. I think it's
all
great,
over.
really cool. I know some family has really loved how their children could actually, when they go to make friends from all around the world, it's really, really cool. And nowadays with social media and whatnot, those friendships can stay forever. It's not like the old days where we had to write, have a pen pal with a stamp and a envelope, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Remember the I guess they call them pen pals. Now you just what's your handle on social or your email? Even email makes you sound old, right? Like people like, oh, what's your Instagram or what? I guess your TikTok or what's your Facebook. But that's a great thing. You can meet people from all over the world. They do. I know in some countries they do announcements in multiple languages. In our experiences, they tended on we sailed on Seascape. They did it in both English and in Spanish, but I know in other parts of the world, sometimes they do 3 or 4 different languages, depending on how many nationalities are on board, or at least percentage of nationalities, right? Because you're going to have folks from all over, but they have a large enough proportion of folks from a particular country that might speak that language. So definitely multicultural audience, but everything is English first in the US. So they had like a cruise director. He was English. They had an activities manager. I believe he was from South America, but all the shows were in English. All the performers were in English. So it is multicultural with the fellow passengers, but you don't have to worry about, maybe missing something in translation. The waiters, the bartenders, the servers, everyone there does speak English too. But it had a different vibe about it, right? Having folks from all over the world on board.
Yeah, I don't, and like what Don says, I don't think you have anything to worry about. You don't have to worry. Don't be put off by us saying that's cultural. Just don't be surprised that you're going to see hearing people speak different languages in the elevator. But it's very much a U.S. cruise experience. And I think it's great. And that's just another added benefit, I think, to have a different experience. And I think that's what it's all about. And the ship itself just has unique vibes. I know we've talked about a lot on this live stream that me and Don have done, where each cruise line has its own flavor. It has its own ambiance. It has its own pluses. And I think MSC has a lot to offer. I think the ships are beautiful. They're known to have some of the best hardware. The ship itself they're beautiful. They have their own vibe, the Swarovski staircases.
Oh yeah.
A lot of mirrors and chrome accents, different tones. The Meraviglia was just absolutely stunning, like a floating resort. Like it has a very premium feel compared to some of the price category that's in. So I think it has like an entry level price because the brand's trying to capture some of the market here because there's so much competition from other brands here that you can get on this ship and at a lower price right now because as it's getting market share, and you can have a real premium experience, I think, overall.
Well, you're getting ahead, John. There's definitely some things we want to talk about, but we did have a question. Thanks to the other awesome half of Eat Sleep Cruise, manning the comments there. We had a question about the gratuities. So
our producer, Heidi, our producer.
Heidi's our producer, the director. We gotta get your wife there as co-director there. So helping us here, getting all the facts and figures for the gratuities, which the values. I mean, they put them on par with most major cruise lines. They're around $15-ish, $14, which is actually on the lower end, right? Some cruise lines now are up to $17, $18 for regular cabins, $20 per day for I think Norwegian soon. And then one thing that's different about MSC is they don't charge full rate for children of certain ages, which I don't know any other cruise line that does that. Do you? Half rate for service charges?
No, that's great.
Real family, again, encouraging families, right? Real family friendly vibe on their ships.
Well, it's the only family-owned cruise line.
They are family-owned. They're privately owned, so that's how they can pump out. They got like a ship after ship. They have World Europa came out last year. Seascape came out last year. Our friend John Roberts over on Facebook mentioned they have another ship coming out June, I think. Euribia is coming out overseas. I think in Northern Europe. I want to say it's end of May or June. So they just had a ship come out in December of last year, another ship coming out 5 or 6 months later. So they're really pushing out these vessels, and these, again, large vessels, 3,000 or 4,000 people, all these unique amenities. So that you,
Yeah.
you mentioned another thing that we were
John, how are you?
talking about here is kind of the value, right? That one unique thing about MSC is that they have some really low kind of guaranteed rate fares, but then they have all these different experiences that you can kind of upgrade. So you can get in on some of their ships much lower price point than, say, Royal, Carnival, or I think they're trying to compete with those folks. So it's fair to say, John, right? They're looking at the contemporary cruise line, if they try to offer a little more premium, but they're not going after the princesses or the celebrities of the world. They're kind of going to the Royals, Carnivals, and Norwegian, right?
Right, I would say so. Yeah, and I think that you have a lot of options because they have those different. And I know it's kind of complex. I think some people, I don't think you need to worry about it per se. It just when you book a, like you say, when you make a balcony booking, you can have these. You can kind of check different boxes to have different experiences.
Mhm.
There's like the Bellissima, I think it is, and there's other ones there, and it kind of throws people off. But if you don't need like spa access, I think might be one of them. Different things, like where you about to dining options, where you have like my seating or my time dining kind of.
Yeah, their version of dine
Yeah,
time.
so you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
kind of check those boxes, that type of thing. But I wouldn't really worry about it. Most people just want to get on board, and they can worry about the rest of the stuff when they get on there. And I'm sure you can adjust it as needed.
Yeah, and I mean that's the great thing. If you're looking for something else, you can upgrade. You can go from like kind of the entry level, and they have the Fantastica and the Aria experience. But if you're not looking for that and you just want to get on the ship, and they still have like both of the ships have these enormous casual buffets that have food from all around the world, global cuisine that is included, the main dining room, just like any cruise ship, all the shows, entertainment in the main theater, just like any other cruise ship, that's all included. A lot of the other amenities are included, but they also have some upgraded things that you can experience in some of the ships too. It's really, what do you want? What do you value? I think that's what, and all the cruise lines are kind of going a little bit to this model, right? That they want to get you on board, and then instead of charging everyone a little bit more inflated price, if you want to use this amenity or this, there's a la carte price for it, right? A per usage charge versus everyone paying more and then including things. So and that's what also makes it family friendly. They still have water slides, right?
Oh,
They have multiple pools spread out throughout the ship, adults only, family areas. It feels in a lot of ways like a regular cruise, but just with this different vibe or personality to it.
yeah, I think the styling of the water parks are just really, really nice. I mean, they are just perfectly designed. A lot of times, I know on Seascape and Seaside, they're really kind of wrapped around the funnel, so
Mhm.
it's very stylish, and they're really, really nice. Even on the Meraviglia, it's really, really nice. And I almost don't know if they get credit for
Yeah.
some of the styling. I mean, this is beautiful. The Bridge of Sighs there, really, really special. They're just beautiful ships, uh, just all around. There's very some people say almost premium compared to even some of the other brands, and you're going to notice that. And I think the brand is, it's new, and it's getting used to the new U.S. market. And I know everybody's got their own tastes for cruising, but I definitely think it's something you should consider. I think it's worth giving give this brand a try. Some people are just really, really passionate, and they're really, really love this brand. Just like we like a lot of other brands, and there's that affinity that people have for Carnival, Royal Caribbean, but it all starts with that first cruise. And so hopefully we can tell you about it, and be sure to ask any comments or
Yeah.
questions below. We'd like to get a little deeper dive to some specifics. And
Yeah. We got some experts in the field here, right? On the
yeah,
comments. Thanks, Ruth on
Scott
YouTube.
Roberts
She's
is
been
joining
on
us.
Seaview, on Seascape Inaugural. She's doing her third MSC cruise. So let us know what you think. Why are you going back, Ruth? Yeah, Ruth. What bringing you back? What do you like about it? And then we got a couple other questions here. We got some questions about the food, which we know our lives audience. We always talk about food. So if you're new to Eat Sleep Cruise or Cruise Addict lives, food does come up. I mean, it's
Yes.
inevitable, right?
Yes, we're both Italian, and we both love food, and we can talk about a good lasagna or meatballs all day long, and especially the gravy, right, Donnie?
You gotta have good gravy. That's where it
Yeah.
starts. So, we'll get to the food. We've been able to experience a little bit of everything on the ships. They do have main dining rooms, buffets, and specialty restaurants, and we've gotten to sample a little bit of all of it, essentially, right? You get a little taste here or
Yeah,
there.
I think to cut to the chase, I think the specialty restaurants on MSC Cruises have always been considered really, really good. I think some of the knocks have been, well, you have to book the specialty restaurants to get really, really great premium food on board. That's when they first came out. But we actually both on Seascape not too long ago, we actually met the food and beverage managers, and they basically said they're really working on elevating their food and culinary experiences fleet wide. It
Yep.
takes a while to put it out, like a year to implement changes. But the fact that they've actually sat down in front of us and said, you know what, we're working really, really hard to elevate the product. And I actually talked to Don before we went live, and I'm like, I remember way back when, and some of you that are watching this might remember that Carnival Cruise Line way back when in the 2000s, they were known for having to improve in some things, and they came out with Fun Ship 2.0 initiative, and they completely redid their food and culinary program, and I think it just holds, kind of just puts out there how these brands are very, very sensitive to every little thing and all ports for the guest satisfaction and the
Yep.
product that they're delivering, with each cruise, that they're always striving to elevate the product. And I think it's great. And I think MSC is going to stepping up and making some significant changes, So I'm looking forward to it. And I know both me and Don have really enjoyed the food the last 10 times our visits.
I think it's a culinary journey. So Pete Dickens, asked we've got a couple other comments, Facebook and YouTube asked about food. So of course as John mentioned, we can talk all night about this. I think like anything, it varies. I would say the buffets on both ship are massive. So they have food they have the pizza's amazing, but they also have Italian food. Then they might have Tex-Mex. They might have an antipasta, a huge salad bar. I would really like them to break it up. I think they could make it more stations, like street eats on like a Carnival celebration, or even Royal or other ships. They still have a buffet, but then they have a deli or a cafe, Park Cafe or Cafe Promenade. They have the pizza place, Sorrento's or Carnival's Pizza Place. The slice is somewhere else. The fact that everything is there makes it gets a little congested, and I feel maybe also the food quality might suffer because it seems like everything's coming out of those kitchens, whereas if you broke things up a little bit. But I would say the main dining room, the last night is, oddly enough, it's an Italian brand, so they do have some pastas made on board. I think the best main dining room meal I had on the ship was the last night, where the whole menu is Italian. At least on the 7-night cruise we did.
Yeah, they
might
have
rotate the menus. Huh?
They used to have an Italian night where they decorate and everything. I know at the Seaside they did.
Well, I think they had the napkins. There's a little decor on the table. It was kind of like the send-away, like the last night. And they had some great fried calamari. They had some other dishes in the pasta. I might have had 2 entrees. So that, to me, the meal was fantastic. That was on par with a specialty Italian restaurant you might see on a competitor brand. But as John mentioned, I think they're still working out some of the kinks for the American market of like, what type of food are they serving? And I would say it's comparable. Did I love everything? No. Did I hate anything? No. I think a lot of the cruise lines, since the restart too, their main dining rooms have been very variable. And I think it might just be still supply chain issues, or some other issues there of trying to get back into a regular schedule. But I mean, the Butcher's Cut, their steakhouse, one of the best meals I've ever had on a ship. Yeah. And then they have the tacos and tacos bar and cantina. Hola, lots of fun. It's casual. It's like $16 or $17 a person, all you can eat, and it's all tapas, and you get some sangria or margaritas, and you can't go wrong there.
I guess they're known for their guacamole, where they'll make it for you, or you can make it yourself, tableside, at your table.
Right? Yeah. Did they have the guacamole? If they did, we didn't order it, but maybe they did. Yeah. We ordered a bunch of like little things, and like I said, a couple margaritas, and it's more casual and it's fun, and it gives you that flexibility because the main dining room is a pretty traditional main dining room, right? It's 3-4 courses. It's it can take that hour and a half or 2 hours, but if you're looking for another type of experience, they have those options there for. I think that was open for lunch on like sea days and dinner every night, and they have a nice bar there too. If you don't want to eat there, you can go still get some of the drinks that are included with some of their drink packages.
And speaking of bars, there's usually espresso machines at every bar on the entire ship because of the European styling and audience, right?
I think right. Yeah. I mean, I think from our experiences on those ships, right? So I don't want to generalize too much, but I mean, they have a good number of bars, and some of them are theme. I mean, I think they're really well themed, especially on Seascape had like the sports bar, but then on Meraviglia they have like the Irish pub, which I wish I got to spend some more time in because
Yeah,
that
that was
thing.
really nice. I like that a
Oh,
lot.
it looked awesome, and the beer list was pretty up there. I mean, I'm a craft beer person, so that's always my
You
judge
know,
of
John Roberts will be there.
Oh yeah, John, we know our friend John. John's a craft beer guy too, which it's tough to find a lot of good beer places besides like the District Brew House on Norwegian. They probably have one of the best beer selections, but the Irish pub looked like they had a good selection there too.
Yeah.
But I think anyone, doesn't matter where you're from, likes a good Irish pub, right? You could be all around the world, everyone knows an Irish pub's a good time.
I just thought it was so cool. You can get an espresso almost at all these different places. Really, really neat. Totally has that European vibe to it, and it was really, really good too. So really neat. I know sometimes you have to. There's only like one coffee bar on the whole ship, and you've got 5,000 passengers sometimes on some of these mega ships. So the fact that they have that on most of the bars was really, really neat. It's just something you got to look for when you're doing MSC Cruise.
Yeah, well, that's the European styling, right? That you can get in a shot of espresso wherever you want. Of course, Heidi and us, a good shot of espresso is not enough. We need a latte with syrups and things where it became a little bit more difficult to get. But now their new class of ship, the World Class, has its own dedicated, like elevated coffee bar, which looks amazing. And that's going to be World Europe already has it, and then World America, which is coming out in 25, is going to have it too. But those are just those little differences that you're gonna find there between the decor, espresso at all the bars, the way things are set up. So yeah, it definitely gives you, even though you might be in the Caribbean, it makes you almost feel like sometimes that you're actually in the Mediterranean, right? That you're not in this destination, you're somewhere else.
Yeah, like I said, MSC Cruise is different flavor. I think we talked about this before. I see, people get very. I remember when I first started Cruise Addicts, we had a get together at Port Canaveral, and people would come up to you and they say, well, they're serious about their brand. They would say, we only cruise this brand.
Right.
Maybe because it's a luxury brand. I don't, but they were a little bit snooty about it, to be honest with you. It's like, okay, we don't discriminate. It's all good to me, But people get serious about their brands. I only do Carnival. I only do Royal Caribbean. I only do Celebrity. I only do whatever. Personally, from someone that's been really blessed, and I know with Don too, maybe you agree with me, is I think you should try the different flavors. See what I like variety. I don't want to order the same menu every day, right? So I like that's what I like. But some people, that's what they like, and I'm not discriminating. But I think people should try MSC. I think it's a different product. All these different brands are different products. It's great that we have this choice. It would be upsetting if I only had one choice of cruise line, which not that long ago was kind of limited, right? And so.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gives you. It's good to have the options, and what I think is good about MSC with the 4 ships they have in the U.S., there are at least 3 different classes. Divinia and Magnifica, who do some of the shorter sailings from Miami, they look a little similar. They obviously probably have some differences that I'm not aware of. I sailed Divinia years ago, and I've never been a Magnifica. But if you look at Meraviglia, which just came up to New York, and then Seascape, that's sailing. Was I think out down in or Seaside's down in Port Canaveral, same as Seascape setup. Yeah. 2 completely different classes of ships. Like the Meraviglia class has kind of a more inward facing. It's made for all. I think the tagline is made for all seasons, right? Because it has some more indoor spaces. Whereas the Seascape and Seasides are more outward facing with the outdoor promenade decks on that's like deck 7 or 8, which is similar to some other vessels. So you have different choices even within the brand. You get the same style, but completely different ship layouts.
Yeah, I really like the Meraviglia. I thought the interior promenade was really, really nice. I thought the ship had more of a north-south type of walkways where it wasn't as confusing as some of the the layout was really simple and it was enjoyable. Mm-hmm. I like the street, just kind of like a lot of some of the Royal Caribbean ships and have the interior promenade. Where you had like almost a cafe culture where you could sit there and have a drink. A lot of the main restaurants, especially restaurants, were right off of the promenade, the tacos. So you had all this activity, and then they had shows there as well. We actually saw a show on Friday.
They had a little parade come through, which
it was great,
Yeah, it's fun.
And I think it's just really nice, like I said, and all the hallways and the stairwells and everything were very easy to. The layout was much nicer. then not that the other ones are bad. This is just nicer. I just really thought it was a great layout.
Yeah, I'm a little more preferable to the layout of the Meraviglia class than the
Yeah.
Seaside class and Seascape and Seashore. Not they're just different. So what's
Yeah.
your preference? I think with Meraviglia, I do like that open promenade. They have the LED dome screen, which changes, and they put different shows on that. And then to your point, I never really thought of it that cafe culture, but it is because they have the candy stores kind of open out to it, but then some of the restaurants they're a little bit more closed off, or some of them are open. The Irish pub's kind of tucked away, but still accessible from that area. They have the that other the carousel theater is kind of down further, so it's not there, but it's an easy walk. So navigating it, I think, is just a little bit more what we're used to, having sailed on some of the other mega ships from like Royal or Norwegian that have kind of the bigger indoor promenade. And they
Yeah.
also have kind of indoor space, like their basketball courts indoors. They have the sports area talking about unique opportunity onboard experiences, right? They have their signature F1 simulator.
Yeah.
Good time. They have the XD Cinema, which is one of my. I mean, I'm in my 40s, but it's still one of my favorite things, and it's a fun activity for families. It's the 3D kind of arcade style games, but it's a simulator, so it moves. Other cruise lines have it, but they're one of the first cruise lines to have it. Meraviglia has a full length bowling alley, like 2 lanes of bowling that you can do there.
I really like the one on this ship too, because the bowling alley it had a glass wall on the left side of it, and it just seemed to bring in a lot of light, and I just really liked the layout. The whole layout was really, really nice. This ship just seems bigger, much bigger,
Yeah.
and just a really nice layout. All the public spaces, because there is a lot of similarities from the ships as far as they have a lot of the same spaces and same venues, and I just thought it was a great ship. And I know we're going to talk about it. It's sailing from New York now, so if you're in the New York region,
Yeah.
you can get on board the ship, because we just really, really liked it. We spent about 8 hours or more on it on Friday, and it was stunning.
Yeah, it's great. We're from Mass. So some of the folks from the Northeast, it's an easy drive to get down there. It's in the Brooklyn terminal, which actually has a gorgeous view of the southern part of Manhattan. So you get to see the Statue of Liberty off one bow, or if you're looking in another direction, if you're looking forward, you get to see the world with the trade center, and you get to see some of that area. So it's a really nice sail out of New York, easy, but you can still fly there. New York's got
Yeah,
more airports than we can count. So if you're coming from other places in the country, you fly up here this summer, check out New York, go on a sailing. They have Bermuda, Bahamas. They're also doing some Bahamas cruises later in the season. They're going to come up north to do some Canada, New England cruising. So there's a lot of options there. And it's actually built for that region, right? Because as we mentioned, a lot of stuff is indoors, but they still have the bamboo pool is inside. That was a great space for families. The adults only pool is all the way aft, like deck 16 or 17 on the top. Good size, it's good size, kind of a pitched multi-tiered decks facing aft with the pool just for adults with a bar.
yeah,
I definitely better than like a steamy solarium on a lot of ships, right? So that's a nice escape from all the other families and the kids. So it still has all those features you look for in doing a tropical cruise.
Yeah, and it's got 3 pools, and then you also have the yacht club, which is the 4th pool, but really, really nice. And
Yeah,
and the view, I'm telling you, the view from the ship to see the Freedom Tower on
Freedom
your
Towers.
right, and then you have the Statue of Liberty to your left, and then a little bit farther you have the Tappan Zee Bridge over here.
Mhm.
Absolutely stunning, just incredible. I've never seen anything like it, because I've never been to the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal, but that is the place to be. That was incredible. So much better than the Manhattan Cruise Terminal location. I mean, of course, it's pretty cool to be that close to like the big buildings and everything like that, but this was really, really special, and the terminal looked really nice. So I highly recommend to give it a shot. If you're in that area, look at the prices. You might get some great deals. Some of the great deals coming up might be in October, November, December, when there's not a holiday happening, like it doesn't fall on Thanksgiving or Christmas. You probably do some amazing pricing out of there. So check those prices out, because of course they usually go up from January onward, and of course summertime it's really going to get 2 to 3 times normal pricing. And cruising overall is very, very in demand right now, so highly check that out.
Well, that's I mean, all cruising is
Really,
like you said, it's up there, especially in our area. I know there's not a lot of options out of Boston or New York, so this is a great additional option. Now, friend, John, of course, our friend Sandy McKenna on YouTube saying she loves sailing out of New York. We've never been to that terminal either, because we have sailed out of Manhattan, which is also a beautiful cruise out too, you get just a different perspective of the city because you're 90, so you're you're upper midtown or whatever. And I don't know my neighborhoods in New York as well, so I probably should. But then you sail down, but like you said, that terminal just docked there. The view is just amazing before the ship even leaves.
And it was a beautiful. Friday was just a beautiful day. Really, really.
Oh yeah, weather-wise, yeah.
Just incredible. So yeah, I think it's just worth it just to have like a New York experience, also have a cruise experience, kind of the best of both worlds. And of course, I think you got to do that. You got to sail out of New York. You got to sail into New York too. Both of them just, of course you can do that with a cruise out of New York City. Just got to do it.
Yeah. The folks, Lewis on YouTube, kind of confirming some of the things we talked about there. We haven't talked much about this. We can talk a little bit about their private destination. Some of the cruises Meraviglia is doing, or Seaside, or Divina and Magnifica are going to Ocean Key Marine Reserve, which you've been to, right, John?
Yeah, I love it. Really, really loved it.
It's gorgeous. It's definitely more toned down than, say, like a Perfect Day at Coco Cay for our Royal fans. Or I think it's similar to, like, we've only been to Half Moon Key, but this is much bigger, right? Ocean Key Marine, it's huge space with tons of different beaches. They do have a couple different bars spread throughout. We'll talk a little bit more later about the yacht club. The ship has its own private area, but there's so much space there that you can just kind of get lost for the day and just find your own little nook, right, and just own it.
When we were on Seascape, we stayed until after midnight, and they had the ship's dock there. They have the lighthouse, has the show there, like puts a beautiful light show.
Don't rub it in. We didn't get to see the show. We left a little early on our cruise, and that's all Heidi complained about. They did like a modified version of it.
There's fire pits there.
Yep.
It's beautiful. The ship's there. You're right at the beach, so you're hearing beautiful music. You got the lighthouse. It's just stunning, and you can be on an island at nighttime, and I mean, nice cool breeze. It just doesn't get any much better than that. Highly recommend that. But you have to find. I know people were talking about it on one of the groups recently. You actually make sure that your itinerary and your ship actually stays there. I think some of them are leaving like at 4:00. Obviously, You're not going to have that experience. So if you want that experience, just make sure that it's scheduled to leave, either late in the evening or maybe 2 in the morning or what have you, or at midnight. It was great. Just really, really cool. Something to check out. But
in the bar right there. So Heidi will correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm pretty sure their drink packages do work on that island. So we have to. Huh?
Yeah, I believe they do.
I believe the drink. So they have
right at the Wi-Fi works on the island too.
The Wi-Fi works there too. The bar right near the lighthouse is got like this yacht club kind of vibe to it. I could just chill there all day. You got the view of the ship. You can go up to the top of the lighthouse. There is a charge to do that. It's like a tour, and they give you some history and things. We were going to do it, but then because the timing just didn't work out with like what we were doing that day. But you can go to the top of the lighthouse. It is a charge, but just the bar there, that I just pull up a chair there, kick back, and have a couple of drinks all day long. It has a little specialty bar menu, so some different drinks there. But that to me was like one of my favorite spots.
Yeah, like when you ever get off a cruise ship at nighttime, walk on a private island in the on almost lightly lit pathways, and sit by a bonfires, these different bonfires, and listen to a DJ music and just relax, hear the waves crashing on the beach. It's just really, really, it's very romantic for couples, and it's just very special. Really, really, it's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, with on YouTube.
The same
yeah,
thing.
It's good for relaxing. Listen, water parks are cool. I don't, Ocean Key has its own vibe. Perfect Day has its own vibe. Other islands, Disney has their own vibe with things doing there. It's what you're looking for, and for me, that was just what we needed on that particular trip. And we only had one ship there. I don't know if they often get 2 ships there, but it's so massive that I wouldn't. I still think even if they had 2 ships there, you could still find your own nice little quiet spot, right?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. If it could hold 2 ships or not, I don't know. One thing I was thinking of, I wanted to tell you is, they had it is a marine reserve where they just made it, just really brought it back to life, so to speak. And they planted all kinds of trees and foliage, and it's really, really. Of course, when I saw it, it was still somewhat new, and I know John Roberts had He's visited before I did, but all that foliage in those trees are now growing, so it's going to become more and more lush and more shade, more natural shade from the trees, and become more and more tropical. It's perfect. When I visited, it was perfect. Huge beaches, and there's no, it's very unspoiled. You don't find all this theming, like crazy. It's just enough, not crazy theming like, in water parks and all this stuff. It's just a nice beach day. Kind of like I said, Half Moon Cay, I think I would compare it to. I love Half Moon Cay.
Yeah, I would definitely. We've only been there once, so compared to our experiences making the rounds of the private islands for all the major cruise lines, but I think it's more comparable to that. And so you mentioned they spent hundreds of millions of dollars. It was like a waste area, and now they're working, and they're going to have it wasn't open when you're there, wasn't open when you're there, but they are opening kind of that environmental center where you can learn more about the conservation efforts that they're doing and learn from scientists who are actually actively doing research there to try to build. I think they call it the super coral, right? To try to help improve. We know one thing about MSC Cruises, they're big on being eco-friendly and trying to push kind of the boundaries of being sustainable, and that's near and dear to their foundation, but also to their approach. So that's another thing too you can know about that they built that and designed that so it can be as eco-friendly as possible.
And I think they're also doing it around the world in other locations.
Right.
As well. And like you said, their initiatives, we could talk about it all day long. Their nonprofit where they actually do, the MSC has a nonprofit where they go rescue people and do all kinds of initiatives as well. But the environmental activities are just from onboard the ships and also these islands. They're super serious about it.
Yeah. And that makes you feel good, right? Not only is it beautiful, but you know that they designed it in such a way and they're using materials that are sustainable, that they're actually encouraging research and activism to let individuals know. And if you don't, that's not something that interests you, it's not in your face. They have some literature about it, but you can just go enjoy the beach. And they have on their ships a little foundation kiosk, I guess you would call it, right? But it's just there. You can go check it out. You can learn more, make a donation if you want. But if not, it's not going to get in your way. They're not hounding you. It's not coming knocking down your cabin door asking for anything. So it just makes you feel good. It makes us feel a little bit better and about like, oh, hey, they spent all this money to do this and this is beautiful and it's designed to last and not have any negative impacts on the environment.
Hopefully Gloria can hear us. She said she can't hear anything.
I think she found the volume.
Okay.
We got a couple of folks. James is leaving Ocean Key super early. Oh, sad. I'm with the sad face there because
that is a sad face.
James is sad. So now you have to book another cruise.
Yeah,
goes there later. That's all. Ooh, we got Ruth. They're going 2 consecutive. I'm assuming she means Ocean Key. They're staying there 2 consecutive. So they do an overnight. So that must be
okay.
They definitely do a light show on an overnight, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess they do have those types of things where they do a full overnight. I mean, it's great. Really, really great. I mean, they had so much going on there.
Yeah. We should have had an MS. We don't have a banner, but Ocean Key's definitely, if nothing else, if you're unsure about the brand, their shorter cruises definitely stop there. So you're guaranteed out of Miami to check it out. And then depending on which itinerary you pick on their other ships, it may or may not go there, but you can check to see. It's definitely ranks as one of the top private destinations for cruise lines in our books.
Yeah, I love private islands. I mean, I've done some with Carnival where we stopped at several of them. Those private experiences like Half Moon Cay, Amber Cove, Grand Turk, those types of things. Really, really love it. It's great, especially with a family where kids just want to swim. They want to be on the water park. They want to have beach days, really, really nice. And of course you can sample different foods sometimes, and all kinds. Got to go to Jack's Shack in Grand Turk. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've been Grand Turk's one of my favorite. We've been on Celebration. We were there, and we were there on a Holland America Line ship too there. And I'd never been there before, and I'm like, this is perfect. It's small, so you can check it out, do some tours, and then lay on the beach. Ship, you get great shots of the ship, right? They're just not. You can almost, it feels like you can almost swim up to them. But the other good thing about speaking of which, Ocean Key has a similar kind of beach right in front of it too, and it feels like you could almost swim up to the ship. You don't have to worry about tendering there. At least we didn't have to tender. So you can just walk right off, walk back and forth if you have long stays there. go back to your room if you want to change up, to head back out to do things while on the island.
Yeah.
We didn't have the opportunity because we left early, but I'm sure if you're there later, I think some of the venues stay open later. They have a coffee shop on board, ice cream shop on board, I mean, on the island, and an ice cream shop on the island, and several bars as mentioned. So definitely one of the benefits of sailing there is their private destination.
Yeah, we actually had, when we used to get off at Ocean Cay, we stopped and had a latte. We had some ice cream. It was like there was like a marina there on the look when you
to do tours. Yep.
Really nice. People were drinking like frozen drinks and stuff like that. We stopped at a place there. It's really, really beautiful. I love what they did. It's just kind of chilled. You almost feel like you walked in a like Margaritaville kind of styling, but it's not like overbearing at all. Just really, really nice.
I could see that. You know what, folks, we should do. We'll put on our list, folks. If folks have other questions too on social. Thanks for the comments, questions. Keep it coming. We'd love to hear from your experiences on MSC Cruises or your other cruises. We should do a cruise line SmackDown, like cruise line private island SmackDown. Like who's got we should definitely, who's got the best this, who's got the best that, and this. If you could build the perfect private island, right? You probably steal this from one, that from another, put it together.
Perfect day at Coco Cay had like amazing amount of free food options.
Right, and Heidi was pointing out, for example, just to let people know, the ice cream and coffee are not included on Ocean Key, but you're right. Perfect Day, it's got the Snack Shack, giant buffet.
Yeah, there's a lot of food there, free food.
Yeah, and again, that's what makes some private islands. Some of Norwegian's private islands, things are included. Other private destinations, they're not. I think
Norwegian. We didn't talk about Norwegian. Norwegian's got some great private islands.
They do. Well, we've always done MSC, but no, Great Stirrup Key is always a good time if you can get there. If the tender boats work.
Yes, that's the ones that have to tender. They're still kind of, they have days. I mean, the weather picks up there, they can't get in, and you don't want to try either. So
yeah. So we were jumping around a little bit. We're talking about this. So folks are about asking, another good benefit, right, of trying them out is the status match program, the loyalty match program that they offer, right?
Yeah.
So, wrong. So depending on what status you might have with a cruise line, Royal, Carnival, whatever it is, if you fill out an online form, simple, easy to do, and they'll match your level to whatever their comparable level is. So you get all those benefits, whether it's a free bottle of champagne, priority disembarkation, priority tendering, whatever it is based on that level. And so you can walk on, John, with some status and have never sailed with the brand before.
Yeah, it's incredible. If you're like a top tier with a certain brand, like we said, people really have an affinity for certain brands, and you want to try something different, maybe just want a great price, so give a chance to check it out. Maybe it's in your backyard now, where, like I said, these brands hadn't been in your backyard, New York City in this case. Now all of a sudden you could literally take a cab ride or take an Uber to the cruise port and get on board and have a great rate. Maybe it's half a cruise, a fraction of what it'd be to fly to Florida, right? And so you have this affinity for this other brand. Maybe you're like the top tier for Carnival or Royal Caribbean. You just apply on the MSC website for this loyalty program, and they match the same top tier or whatever tier you're at.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you walk in, all of a sudden maybe you're getting these perks that no one else has, and you're just starting out. So it's really, really great. I think it's great because they're giving cruisers like us, these heavy cruisers, they want to help you love their brand. And really, I mean, we're just talking, it could take 10 years or more of casual cruising or more. I mean, I constantly see on people on these groups, they're very excited about, I've reached this status, I've got this color card, and it takes a lot of money. I mean, it's a major investment, and people are serious about it. And in this case, they're actually going to let you literally walk in the door. They've got some fine print, so look at, read the fine print and learn how to do the system. But you can start off and get these perks immediately. Maybe it's free, maybe it's drinks, maybe it's discounts on the cruise, discounts on board, early entry to the ship, priority boarding, priority disembarkation, priority excursions, all these different perks. And it's, last time I checked, it was really, really good. And like I said, if you're top tier, I mean, that's like you're saving yourself 10 years or more potentially, and literally, and you might love this brand. This might be your new brand for a couple of years, and of course, I like the different brands. So you're going to be very diplomatic and just say you love them all. It's like your children, you love them all. Cruising is like pizza to me. I like it all.
It's like pizza.
There's no bad cruising.
There's no bad pizza.
Well, there's bad pizza. I'm sorry.
I was saying you haven't eaten at
I never
Sorrento's.
bring it up.
No.
I do, it's actually it's hard to find good pizza in Georgia. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding with you. But
For
I
sure.
no, so and actually I didn't this we have to do more we gotta get Ruth on here next time we get an MSC later this year. They even match higher level credit cards and hotel points too. We gotta look at this finer print. If that's true, then maybe you don't even cruise. Maybe
Ruth is on.
you're a Bonvoy member or you do a lot of other types
Yeah.
of travel.
Hey, I'm a Bonvoy member now.
You John, but you are a Bonvoy member now. I didn't want to tell you the perks, but we actually got a double credit because of our status at the Marriott. But
Well, I benefited.
we
though.
stayed
had
at a
drinks.
Marriott
We
before.
had drinks. Thank you.
Yeah. No,
Well,
thank you.
That beer was really good. What was that beer called? Do you remember that beer?
The eyeglass. It's a white. Yeah.
Yeah, John. If John
Eyeglass.
Roberts looked, that was really good. I need to look it up because I need to make sure we go on that cruise in Alaska. I got to try some more. I'm not a big drinker, but it was really good. So
Yeah, yes, for Bloomin', and they gave you an alternative. I forget, but now you're a Bonvoy member. But I think you have higher status probably with Carnival. Who have you sailed with the most with? That's a question. Royal for us. I'll be honest.
Like
We've sailed on them all, but Royal the most. Yeah.
Yeah, like I actually with I'm diamond status with Royal.
Oh, excuse me.
Fancy.
Excuse me. Nice. So we've kind of combined some stuff. Great questions. Keep them coming. Thanks for all. We have folks in the comments there answering the questions for us. We always appreciate it. So there's some folks who love MSC. Great crew members. Yeah, we've talked already about the prices.
I've been on a couple of different things where I've been with travel agents. Sometimes they'll be on board with media, and people love the brand. They're like, I only cruise MSC. Like Bill saying, they really love it.
We have friends of ours who I won't call them out, whose family like only sails like essentially is a MSC only or 99% time MSC, 1% another brand. But one thing I mentioned, and this is not just true of MSC, but other cruise lines, grab and go options, which if you've sailed on, it's got to be food related, right? You sailed on Virgin Voyages, they've kind of pioneered the grab and go food options on a cruise ship. I suspect, right, with World America and some of these other cruise ships coming out, that you'll see more of that, not just on other cruise lines, but also apply in MSC, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, like we said earlier, the food and beverage managers had talked to us on Seascape. It sounds like a lot of things are in the works, and Don was saying that there's kind of some, that we think they're going to revamp a lot of what the offerings are, kind of like they put new offerings on their flagships, and then it works its way around the fleet. So we're really excited to see what World America comes. That's the biggest ship. World Europa was in the Middle East. Now it's in Europe. And then World America, obviously aptly named, is going to be coming to the United States. So hopefully we'll get to come on board that. Be super excited to check that out. And we think there's going to be a lot of new stuff on board. So for the American.
Yeah, they've already told us some stuff. They're keeping some stuff under wraps because it is over a year away for World America. But I think feedback from cruisers like you, the cruise lines do listen, not just MSC, all of them, right? So if you say, hey, John mentioned earlier, do the survey, give feedback, tell them what you like as well as what you don't like. I think people sometimes just say, I didn't like this, that, or the other thing, but forget to tell them what they also did like. So they want to keep all the things that you like and get rid of and change or improve the things that you don't like. Like I love the gelato on MSC, but there's not a lot of other complimentary ice cream options. So they have some really upscale, the Venki on MSC Seascape. They also have the gelato shop right there in the Galleria on Meraviglia. But unfortunately, that's not included in any package either. It's not crazily priced, a few bucks a serving, which I'll pay it. I mean, for good gelato, I'll pay it, right?
Now on the seaside, I had a drink package. It allowed the coffees and the chocolate bar, and it allowed it was like $10 was the cap, or $10 or $12. It was a cap. And then it allowed so much gelato a day.
There was a gelato allowance.
I think there was a gelato allowance. I think it was something like that. I think.
Well, they have. I know we've just put out a post. Heidi put out a post, and we're still waiting to get some confirmation because their drink packages, they just updated them either late last year or beginning of 23. Yeah, they've changed them. Prices have gone up. The inclusions have shifted around a little bit. The drink dollar amounts also, because they have that one thing about their pricing and being unique is because there's so many options, as we mentioned earlier, it can get a little confusing. So just take time. A good travel advisor knows MSC Cruises can help you figure out like what's the free drinks and Wi-Fi package? How's that different than the easy plan or the plus plans or the other options that they have? That's the other thing. All these cruise lines got to come up with better names because they all become confusing. There's the Premier, there's the Plus, there's the Premier Plus, there's the Easy, there's the Hard. Like it should just be like a package or two. But
Yeah.
once you figure it out, it can make all the difference. Getting whatever suits you, like your taste, what you're going to actually utilize on the ship.
Yeah, and of course you can always go a la carte.
Yeah. No reason. Why not? Why wouldn't you want to go a la carte?
The gelato is incredible, by the way.
We did try it. Oh, on Seascape, we had some of this on Seascape. It's great. And I think it has there's like the pool deck had gelato, both pools, like the outdoor pool, the indoor pool, the adult pool.
Yes.
There was gelato like everywhere.
Good. You just need a scoop. It's very thick.
Well, I think Cindy agrees with you. She needs that allowance as well on YouTube.
Yeah.
She wants a gelato allowance.
And maybe there's more. I don't know if there was a limit or not. I don't think it was. Now I think about it, but it was good.
Odds are it's changed anyway. So you can head over to eatsleepcruise.com and look at the MSC Cruises drink package guide written by my wonderful wife, who will detail all the inclusions, all the prices.
She's a better writer than you, I heard. So
yes. You're getting all the dirt on these trips. It comes out. So she's a much better writer, much better looking than me.
Right.
Smarter.
Right. She's brilliant.
All of the above. So
right.
We'll be going
lucky to have her.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
Yes.
I'm extremely lucky.
Right.
So before let's keep these to an hour or so, but keep the questions coming. Love the engagement. One thing we haven't talked about yet, which also sets them apart, is the yacht club experience.
Yeah, and you were saying, did you actually stay? You stayed in the yacht club, didn't you, one time?
Are you trying to rub it in? No, I've toured the yacht club. I've toured several yacht clubs, but we have yet to spend a night in the yacht club.
But you were in the Haven, though, right?
We stayed in the Norwegian Haven, so comparable, but it was beautiful. But what I heard is folks who've done both, they tend to lean towards the yacht club. So I definitely want to try the yacht club. MSC, if you're listening, John and I, yacht club, we're there. But for folks who don't know what the yacht club is, it's the ship within a ship experience, right? So it's a dedicated 3 or 4 decks. On Meraviglia was all the way forward, right?
Yeah.
The tour, it was all the way forward. Decks like 15 through 19 or 20, where you have all the suites, and they have their own private restaurant, private pool deck with bars and a pool, and then they have their own lounge. And once you get into yacht club, not only do you have the nicest rooms, you get a bunch of other perks like drink packages, specialty dining, etc. Wi-Fi, I think, is included as well. You get butler service. It's basically unlike anything else throughout the rest of the ship, right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful, exclusive experience. And, like you said, it's this cruise line, I think it's going to get to the point where it's going to be in such demand because new cruisers, new to the brand, are going to start repeat cruising. Like I said, we just saw Bill, I believe it was, he said he loves the brand. And more and more people are going to start filling up these ships. Right now, you have the opportunity to try these cruises at a discount. And part of that discount is to get into a luxury experience like MSC Yacht Club. You go to another brand where the demand is really high and it costs a large amount because if something is in demand, the price is always going to be higher. So it's a great chance to get on board, try these different unique experiences, maybe a luxury one or whatever makes you comfortable with your budget, and give it a shot because we all know it's only going to go up.
Yeah, and what we've heard from folks who've done that, once you go to the yacht club, we were talking to someone during the trip. It's almost tough to go. It's tough to go back to somewhere else. Not that the other rooms are they're comparable to other cruise lines, but just the yacht club experience with all the amenities, the concierge, and that elevated level of service. And as John mentioned, I mean, there are some prices now we were pricing out for Meraviglia where you can get into the yacht club basically at the same price a balcony cabin would be on another ship sailing from like Jersey or from the Northeast area. So that can't last forever. So that's the time if you really want to spruce it up and you're worried about some of the other things like maybe the dining, because they have their own private restaurant where the dining's elevated and you get drinks are included, Wi-Fi is included. So if you're concerned about maybe some of these options or included options aren't going to be up to your level, I go to the yacht club. You can't go wrong, right? You can't be steered wrong
Yeah, we were able to tour the yacht club the last 2 times because a lot of times you just can't go in these areas. But on Seascape, I was able to tour it, and so was Don. And then this ship on Meraviglia, we were able to tour it as well. Really, really nice. Got to really, we ate dinner there. Incredible,
Yeah,
incredible.
we ate in the restaurant there. Beautiful forward-facing glass views. The city of New York was all lit up while we were eating dinner. The lounge below, very similar, has this open kind of, I guess, I don't know what the view would be, 180 maybe, or maybe not 130
Yeah.
glass windows facing outward as you're listening to some piano music or just having a cocktail or drink at the private lounge that they have in the yacht club. It's not a bad way to spend an evening, right?
No, it's really great. Highly recommend it.
And the
Uh,
other thing they do you know too, so they have suites, but they also have some other rooms in the yacht club too. Like some ships actually have like entry level, like an inside. So it's like an inside suite,
yeah,
which is again, it's going to be a lower price point, but you still get all the other amenities that are included in the yacht club,
yeah.
all the
So,
way up to like penthouse and all the other kind of crazy suites. We got the
so
tourist suite that had a whirlpool right on. It had two balconies, had a forward facing balcony, a whirlpool on the second balcony. I think I forget what class of suite it was, right? But it had so
yeah.
it had its own private living area, its own walk-in showers, walk-in closets. So a variety of different, the nicest rooms are going to be in that area.
So the cheap cruiser in me says, "Wow. So how much would a flight in October to New York City be on JetBlue?" And then look up an inside cabin or what's the lowest rate cabin in the yacht club on this mega ship at the lowest time of the year, maybe the first 2 weeks of November, December, October.
That's a great. I mean, listen, if I had to choose, listen, if you had to choose between sailing, and we say this a lot too about Alaska, if we had a choice between better room and off-season sailing, we are lucky we don't have kids, so we can make that choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you do the yacht club all day long as opposed to going peak season and
Do
getting
they
a
have a
balcony.
guaranteed, what do they have such a thing as a guaranteed cabin in the yacht club? I want to check that box.
I don't know.
That'd be a great
Does
question.
anyone else know? I think you pick your room. I think you pick your, but I know some ships do have insides, so that's kind of like that is the lowest level, right?
I guess
But
if they weren't selling, they might turn it on.
yeah, a trial,
You
they might be running promotions, or
never know. You never. I
you
mean,
never know.
yeah.
Listen, I take a guarantee in the yacht club because who in the yacht club you have your own private pool deck.
Then all of a
So
sudden you might be able to, you book guaranteed, and the next thing you know, you get some super, super, like I think it was the Grand Suite. I think it was with
is that a we
the
can tour?
bathtub and the beautiful deck area with a full size table and lounge chairs. Incredible view of the bow of the ship. It was crazy. Loved it.
Yeah.
And Steve Harvey said, once you fly first class, once you have a first class plane seat, you can't go back. You're ruined. Just like a
Yeah, that's
balcony.
why I refuse to buy one. Heidi, even though Heidi wants them,
That'd
I
be all
refuse.
messed up if I did that. I know
We
now.
our first balcony crew, we always did. We were like you. We would always do the cheapest room
Yeah.
or one of the cheapest rooms because you're like, oh well, you're never in the room on a cruise ship, and we're
Yeah.
not really. Just sleep there. But then we got our first balcony,
You're ruined.
like our fourth or fifth cruise in, maybe.
Yeah.
Haven't gone back since.
You're done, right? You're just
Huh?
done. You're done. You have to have a balcony
Done.
after that. Done.
Done. I think we booked one guarantee. We go on tangents, folks, so feel free to enjoy a tangent or let us know comments. We did book one guarantee for an Alaskan cruise, actually, like an inside, because the rates were so crazy with our friends. And then we did the bid upgrade, which I love bid upgrades. We should have a show on that. We ended up getting a balcony cabin for an extra $400.
Oh wow.
$200. We did bid like $200 a person, or it was like 205. I did like a weird number, like 205.
Cheap.
So our friends paid like double the amount we were paying for inside because they booked the balcony right off the bat. They're like, we're booking balconies, and I'm like, oh, the time you're go, and then we ended up getting it for like $400 more.
Did you? This is kind of going off side. I know we're kind of getting off, but did you ever like back in the day? Remember they make you sit with people. I don't know if you had to sit with people. They put you at a table with like strangers. It's much more like sit by yourself nowadays in modern cruising. But back in the day, like in the 90s and early 2000s, they put you at a table with people, be strangers, and they'd always ask you, so how much did you pay? Around the fifth, sixth night, they would ask.
Not like the flight commercial, like you got on a plane 150 people, it's 150 different prices for what they paid. But
yeah,
we never so the short answer is yes. We sat. I'll never forget the first cruise Heidi and I ever went on, Legends of the Seas. We went with two other couples. It was us, her good friend, and her future husband, and then her brother and his future wife. So it was 6 of us, and they sat at a table 8. They sat this poor other couple on their honeymoon with us, and we all knew each other. And John and Beth, I'll never forget John and Beth. And I felt so bad for them. I think they stopped coming after like night 3 or 4. I was like, you know me, I'm energetic going, and one of the other husbands, he was equally kind of gung ho, and we would talk about the day and do all this stuff. And I think they got like they were afraid. they didn't really come back. So since then, we usually ask for a table of 2, or if we go with other people, we eat with family. But
nowadays, you don't do what you usually like. We usually do like my time dining. We ask for a table of 2. We sit with the family, or there's depending on how we're traveling. But back then, about the 5th or 6th night, there was always something. So, how much did you pay? How was your day? And then it would be like, so how much did you pay? We have this travel, and then like, you want to see someone get fired up? You tell them they paid some or they tell themselves they paid $2,000. And you're like, yeah, we got it for $9.99 each. And they're like, what? Like. I mean, all of a sudden, some people have like a major reaction to that. They're like, how did you do that? It's like, it's just like the same thing. I mean, how many people, what did you pay for an airline ticket? Everybody, price. But no one ever asked us, I guess that, but we do a lot of guarantees, big balcony guarantees, great way to save money and stuff. $100 a person. Usually the average was $100 per person just by booking a guaranteed cabin. Want to save $100?
Yeah.
Easily.
At least.
Yeah, all day. And they're not on every cruise, but yeah, we talked about this as far as tips go, all day long.
So our producer's keeping us in check, John. So we have had some questions that we didn't get to. Apologize. I know, James, if you're still with us, asking about the entertainment. We touched a little bit on this, but not enough. So we'll talk about it.
I got that video too.
Yeah. Well, we'll show a little clip of this. So this is from Meraviglia, which we were just on. We were in the
Carousel Lounge, right?
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking at
which is an optional thing. Don says like it comes with a drink. It only holds 400 people, so it's a very intimate experience. It was my first time I've ever seen anything like this. To me, honestly, this is probably one of the best top 3 shows I've ever seen anywhere. Really, really loved it. Both singers were incredible. Here's a little highlight. So
to be fair, John, this was an upcharge. So folks were asking like what's included, what costs more. On MSC Seascape, the Cabaret Lounge, the Cabaret Rouge Lounge right now does a kind of circus cabaret style show where it's a variety act from singers, comedians. There was like a contortionist, different kinds of acts there. That's complimentary. With John, throw up a little clip of this. This is an upcharge, as you mentioned. I believe our producer will correct us if I'm wrong. It's like $15 on the ship, $10 charge if you book beforehand, but you get a welcome drink or like a signature drink.
Signature drink, they call it, yeah.
Yeah, the signature drink there. I enjoy. I thought I agree with you. Is the House of Houdini a nice intimate theater? So it's a giant ship, kind of a circle in the round stage setup. It had live singing. It had some illusions, dancing, and you felt just like you were right there because it's not that big of a venue. Very well produced. The songs were all modern songs. It flowed well. I mean, I think it was definitely, like you said, one of the best shows I've seen. It is an upcharge, but it's reasonable, and you get that drink. So I'm not afraid. But then in the main theater, we didn't get to see it. They did have a main theater show. They were showcasing Meraviglia, but we got to see all the shows on Seascape. And if you like theater shows, so I know some people don't go to the theater. So if you're not a big theater person on any cruise, I don't think I'd recommend MSC's theater. It's not probably going to change your mind. I would say it was very typical cruise show.
Yeah, we did Seaside. My family loved it, and there's some. If you type Cruise Addicts MSC Seaside, you'll see some footage from the review. And they have a unique style of entertainment, a lot of acrobatics, different things like that. Really loved it. Is it for everybody? Maybe not, but I think it goes back to the original conversation about MSC, how it has uniqueness to itself and they have to differentiate themselves somehow. We don't want to do the same thing, like otherwise every restaurant would be Outback, right? So we want some different.
Why would it be Outback? Why is that? Is that the baseline?
I don't know. I'm just thinking. Yeah. We don't want to. Is every steak going to be Outback? No, we want different flavors. My favorite steakhouse is Charlie's in Tampa, by the way.
I thought you were going to at least go up, like, is every place going to be Capital Grill or like McCormick's and
I don't
Schmidt's?
really
Like,
like
go
Capital Grill.
upscale.
I think Capital Grill's overrated, by the way. Love a show on this.
Well, it's not as good as the Olive Garden, but I mean, it's something. So,
so here's the House of Houdini, and it's showing. It's actually showing on the MSC Meraviglia. So yeah, that was the House of Houdini on the MSC Meraviglia, and
I was bopping my head along. I got caught there. I'm like listening to the music, watching it.
Good. It was, and I love the music. There's two singers there. There's a man and a woman. They were incredible. Really, really loved it. I think it just worked. Sometimes I was telling Don, sometimes they'll have like one singer that's okay. The other one's like really good.
It's kind of like when you do a live and one host is really good and the other host he's just kind of all right. He's sitting in the library. He doesn't know what's going on.
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah. Go to the buffet.
That would be. You said you're going to the buffet. Wouldn't it be great if you had a good backdrop that was the buffet?
Yeah.
John, we're just kidding. John, we love you. No, but the show was amazing, and they do two shows a night for several nights, and then they switch, so they have a second different production which we didn't get to see there. So that same cast does a different production. If it's a week-long cruise, they have like two different shows there.
I believe when these ships came out, so it's the Meraviglia class. When they first came out, they had Circus Soleil. They had a relationship with them, but now it's called Carousel Productions, I believe. And so I think they brought it in-house, but it was really, really good.
It's still high quality. The performers were excellent, and I think it moved well. Sometimes you go to a cruise. We love cruise shows, so don't get me wrong. Like Heidi and I, we go to every single show on a ship. Main theater, small specialty lounges or venues like that, we see everything. But there are some times where shows you're just like, all right, I'm ready for this show to get over. That show, I love the pace of it. Yeah, and really, I didn't time it, but it had to be like a standard 45-ish minutes, right? It was a typical cruise show. It didn't seem
it was
short or too long.
Yeah, it was really nice. Great talent, just incredible talent. And if you think about it, I was on a different brand, and they tried to do something like this in a different space, and it was open to the whole ship, and people were waiting like 2 hours, which I gave them props for trying to do such a thing in an intimate space. But when you have 5,000 or 6,000 people trying to do it, they would literally wait for 2 hours, and the space wasn't designed, purpose built like this, the Carousel Lounge is. Yeah. So it just wasn't ideal. It was like, they should put the rigging in like the main theater. So
that other brand wouldn't have been for like famous people. Would it be for all
famous people?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, no, it's not that one.
No. And, okay.
But my point was, it's great that these brands are trying to bring this incredible entertainment. But in this case, I think it's perfect. It's in a purpose-built area, and it's limited basically for the price of a drink. It allows 400 people to sit in that space. There's not people trying to rush in and steal seats, and which I saw in the other brand. So yeah, highly recommend it. And I know each ship has a different. If you go to the MSC website, and I know we have a link on the Cruise Addicts site to our 6 things. The bottom it has a link. You actually can see the different ships that actually have these shows, the Carousel Lounge Productions. So check it out. Sure, check out eatsleepcruise.com as well. And
we have 7. You only have 6 things. We have 7.
I noticed that. So I just posted 6.
We went one over you.
Right. I think now I'm going to come out with 12, So maybe by tomorrow I'm going to have to go, hey, we're going to go from 6 to 12. Got to beat Donnie.
So, yeah, we'll just keep going back and forth. So we appreciate everyone joining us. I had a lot of great questions, I learned a lot from everyone. So I know we're a little over an hour. This is a good question to end with. If other folks have questions, please leave them in the comments. But first time cruiser, so I'm assuming first time cruising anything, asking they booked the yacht club on Seascape. What is some of your cruise MSC specific or even just cruise general couple tips for Lauderdale? One.
Wow. So you're not messing around. You just started off real strong, going right
Right at the top.
Boom. Not joking. I think just relax, take it all in. Don't think too hard about it. Just try to enjoy it. I think that's the biggest thing with the yacht club is you're basically going to be pampered with a butler. So someone's going to be holding your hand, so to speak, and just try to take it all in. I think with cruising, make it your own vacation. Don't try to do too much, and just try to tailor the experience. Treat the ship like a floating resort. And of course, you're in a luxury experience in the yacht club. And so that's my advice. Take your time and don't try to do too much per se, and just tailor whatever experience you do have to what suits you best.
I think it's pretty good advice. It is tough. You're starting at the very top, as John said, right? So
you're ruined.
Well, what we've heard is once you go there, you never go back. So you're just going to look for, suites on similar suites like on the Haven on Norwegian or Royal on some of their newer ships have the suite life where they have kind of a ship within a ship experience. Carnival has some unique areas of their ships, newer ships too, that are exclusive for certain cabin types. So I would say if this is really your first ever cruise, and let's see, if you're down there, if you're flying a day early, make sure you arrive early. Pre-book some things. There is a concierge on board for you, but definitely book any tours or excursions you want to do. Hopefully you're going to Ocean Key. That's a beautiful beach day. We've already talked about that. But whatever places you might be going, whether it's the Caribbean or the Bahamas, depending on your itinerary on that vessel, or I don't actually where it is, right where it might be. It's in September, I think. So it might be in a different area of the world, but wherever you are, book some tours ahead of time. Utilize that concierge, those butlers while on the ship. There was a question about this. So besides those upcharge venues, none of the theater entertainment requires reservations ahead of time. So some cruise lines require you to make reservations for the shows. I remember on Seascape, it told you to make reservations in the app, and like the first day or two, they scanned the app, and then after that, they stopped scanning. So I don't know if it's just because they didn't have to worry. I don't know if it's capacity controlled, but do check that out. So if you're on the ship and it says to make a reservation for a show, it's free. They don't charge you. Make the reservations in the app. The MSC app's pretty good, right? So make sure to utilize the app. Do your check-in early. It wasn't matter. You have priority embarkation anyway because you're going to be in the yacht club, but check out the app. Make sure you're familiar with that, and then explore the ship when you get on board. Just walk around, soak it all in, take advantage of all those other benefits they have too. I think you get some specialty dining package when you're in the yacht club or some of those other perks.
Yeah, I think that's the final thing I'm thinking is just make sure, you bought a special product being in the yacht club. Make sure that maybe watch some videos and do some deeper dive of the list of things, what's included. There's a long list. I just posted them last night on the article. And make sure that you're taking advantage of those things. You don't want to pay for something and not utilize them to the fullest, if it's something you want to utilize. And so just to get yourself up to speed on the product that you bought, and so you can enjoy it. I know sometimes people take a cruise and wherever they are, and they really don't really get into the groove as far as maybe fully understanding what they want to do, what they're doing until like midway. So now you've lost like 3 days, 3.5 days on the cruise, and then you enjoy the last days because you're kind of disoriented at the beginning. So do a little extra research to make sure that you can start off on a good foot. And of course, the people in the yacht club are just absolutely incredible. Like Don said, just ask your butler any questions. They'll help you along the way, and of course, they know it better than we do. So,
yeah, front loading is key. Front loading is key. We always say on any ship, it feels like the rest of the passengers don't find their way around till day 3 or 4. So the water park might be there's a nice water park on Seascape for your kids or even for you. They have tube slides, they have some body slides. They have the Robotron, which is an upcharge, but if you like thrilling attractions, you can do that. Robotic arm, it simulates a roller coaster. F1 simulator, the Hall of Games. They have the XD Cinema we talked about earlier. So all that stuff is there the whole cruise, and it seems like people don't discover it until, as John said, day 3 or 4. So
It's so,
get ahead of the curve. Check out those things. There's some great deals you can get with passes where you put a certain dollar amount down and you get extra credits that you can use at all those attractions because they honestly are all upcharge, but I think they're well worth it from the simulator to the Robotron and some of the other virtual reality experiences there. Water park's free. And also, if you have kids, make sure you sign them up day 1, right, John, for the youth area, Do Re Mi Land, which I didn't realize that's how you pronounce it.
yeah.
I was just like, I have no idea. Do Re Mi? They're like, no, it's Do Re Mi. I'm like, well.
I was just thinking on a different note. I was like, we'll tour some of these ships and stuff like that, and we're just on there for a day or so, and we'll see different areas that are kind of out by itself, and we'll say, God, I think we said this together. People aren't going to find this for like 3 days. So if there's a spot that you want to have all to yourself, you go hang out there, and like people don't know it's there for like 3 days, and then you're kind of done with it. And you move on to another area,
I say that all the time. I'll be walking somewhere. I'm up early filming or taking photos and doing other things, and or later in the afternoon, you're just roaming around. You overhear people like, "Oh, they have an Irish pub here." It's like, where have you been? You've been on the ship for 4 days. Like, you're just realizing this, or like, there's like the theater in the back. Like, I'll never forget on an Oasis class. I saw a friend Matt from Royal Crim Vlog popped in. I'm sitting in the Oasis, and people walk out to the boardwalk. Folk know those class, nice outdoor area. And literally, the Aqua Theater has some of the best entertainment you'll see on a cruise ship. And people are like, "Oh, I wonder what happens here." It's like, what? What do you mean? What happens here? So, look at the deck plan. Check out review. We have a full detailed review on our site, scorecard, as well as day by day of Seascape. But you can go to the groups. John's got a lot of great groups on Facebook. Other folks like lives like this will tell you information. Figure out what you want to do. Do it early in the cruise. And then the great part is if you really like something, you can go back and you don't mind if you have to wait in line a little bit, or if there's a little bit of a queue because you've already experienced it once and you're going back for seconds. Kind of like the buffet. Grab everything you like, and then if you really like something, you can go back and wait in line, and you can get some more of it.
And of course, I think they've got 24-hour room service and stuff like that. And of course, it's going to be included most likely.
Oh, in the yacht, in the yacht club, you don't have to leave that area.
See the world with Chris actually goes, I heard the ice cream at the Ocean Quay is included with the yacht club. Is that true? Probably.
That's your answer is probably Chris. I can't help. He's in a library. We should look this up. I don't know.
Go to the book.
I don't know. Our producer's on. Where's my producer? She should be on this.
The producer.
I'd have to. I've never seen the yacht club, so I don't know. And those inclusions are kind of always, kind of they're tweaking what's included. But
she wrote. Boop.
Oh, boom! All right.
Premium extra drink package, but doesn't work at the premium venues like the Vinci. We don't believe it's not sure 100%. See, she's so smart. So wow, it went really good.
Yeah. So appreciate everyone checking in. As a reminder, we are going to do another live next week, all about Alaska. We each have an Alaska cruise coming up in the next few weeks. So that was a zoom in. Next few weeks. So we'll get some links out there so you can come with your Alaska cruise questions or just questions in general. But before we call it a night, John, where can people find you?
You can find me at Cruise Addicts on all the different social media programs at Cruise Addicts, and of course at cruiseaddicts.com. And we really appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up, like, comment, all that great stuff. We really appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. It's such a pleasure to do this. And I'm really looking forward to our Alaska show next week. It should be like next week, same time, same place.
Yeah, we'll get those at the same 7:30 Wednesday Eastern, 7:30 Eastern, East Coaster. So I apologize for folks at other times, but yeah, we're talking all things Alaska: packing, planning, ships, itineraries. We're going on different. Both of us going on different ships. We got different itineraries.
For the show,
different luggage.
For the show next week, I'm going to wear layers.
You should pack layers.
For the show, I'm going to have layers on and maybe my binoculars,
and a waterproof coat because it does rain.
Yes, a little hot shirt.
Waterproof jacket, but
with a hat too, right?
In a hat, yeah. I actually have a branded Alaska hat for a particular cruise line that is like, it's money. It's so money. I'll wear it.
That is so fancy.
It's very thank you. Yeah. So thanks for joining. If you don't know who I am, I'm Don from Eat Sleep Cruise. You can find us at eatsleepcruise.com. at Eat Sleep Cruise on all social medias except for YouTube, where it's at Eat Sleep Cruise 1. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Night.